In this activity, you will have the opportunity to explore the green spaces near your homes and look for plants and other specimens that interest you. You will write down details about the plants you're interested in. You might record observations about the size, location, color, smell, leaf patterns, and other unique characteristics of your plants. You will then sketch your plants and use internet resources to try to identify them. During the 5 weeks of Aim High, you will spend time adding to your collection of sketches. By the end of the program, you will have sketches and observations for about 10 to 15 different plants. During week 5, you will make a zine using your sketches. A zine is like a small magazine made out of your original artwork and writing. This is an example zine that I made with a sketch of some wildflowers I found behind my house. Later on in the video, I will demonstrate how to make a zine using a few materials that you probably already have around your house. Before you get started, I want to share some information about plant structure and plant identification. The basic parts of the plant include the flower, stem, leaves, roots, and reproductive organs. We are going to focus on leaves today. A plant's leaves collect sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Investigating some characteristics of a plant's leaves can help you identify that plant. We are going to discuss 3 leaf characteristics: shape, margin, and venation. Leaves come in many different shapes. The most common shapes include ovate, truncate, elliptic, lanceolate, and linear. Margin is another key word you will need to know. A leaf's margin is the leaf blade edge. It can be serrated or smooth. Finally, venation is the pattern of the veins on a leaf. The veins you see in leaves spread water and nutrients throughout the leaf. Leaves have unique vein patterns. The 2 most common are pinnate and palmate. You can label the plant parts and include information about the leaf characteristics in your sketches. As you can see, I've labeled the different parts of the plant and included information about the leaf characteristics, including the shape, the margins, and the venation. Refer to the web resources included in the description of this activity to find resources that will help you identify the shape, margin, and venation of the leaves of your plants. Before you get started, these are the materials that you will need for this project: a sketch pad or some pieces of paper and a clipboard to take outside while you are sketching, some drawing materials, so a pencil, a pen, colored pencils, or whatever else you would like to use. And then for the zine portion of this project, you will need some scissors and some string, but I will explain more about that later. Before you go and choose your location, make sure you have your materials ready to do your sketching outside. The next step is to go outside and look for somewhere to draw some plants. When doing this project, it is important that you respect the natural environments you're exploring. Do not pick any plants or remove any living things from their natural environments. You can pick up things that are already on the ground, such as sticks or rocks or pine cones, but do not pick anything that is living. When you are choosing a location, be careful where you step so that you don't end up stepping on any plants. And if you would like to sit down while you are sketching, make sure to find an area that is clear. If you would like to sketch your plants from home, you can also take pictures of the plants that interest you. Just make sure to write down observations about any important details, including the location of your plant. Once you have chosen a location with lots of different plants, find a plant that you are interested in drawing and record your observations about it. Write down lots of details, including location, shape, smell, color, leaf pattern, and any other unique characteristics. Next, sketch your plant, making sure to draw it large enough so that you can see the details. Label the plant parts you know. I'm now going to show you how to make a zine. I'm going to demonstrate two different methods. The first method makes a mini zine, and it only involves folding and cutting. The second method makes a larger zine, but it requires a few more materials. We're going to start with the mini zine. First, gather your materials. For this one, you will need a single piece of paper. So this is just a piece of printer paper. It's 8.5 by 11. You can also use another size piece of paper. If you have a larger piece of paper, it will make a larger zine. And scissors is the other material you will need. So first, you're going to fold your paper hot dog style. And for this one, it's really important that you make sure your creases are well defined. So use your nails to reinforce them. So next, you're gonna open your paper back up and you're gonna fold it hamburger style. Make sure to line it up so that it's even. And make sure your creases are really good. Oops. You're gonna open it up again. And now you're gonna fold each side into the middle crease that you just created. So position your paper vertically and fold from the bottom up. You're gonna fold right to the middle crease. Now flip your paper over and do the same thing on the other side, folding up to meet the other piece. So you're basically making a smaller rectangle with this fold. Once you have that, you're going to open the whole thing back up, and now you can see all the pages of your zine. So the final step is to fold your paper hamburger style once again, and you're going to hold it so that the crease is pointing down and the open part is pointing up. You're going to take your scissors and make a cut right along this middle crease, just to the center point. So, starting from the bottom, you're going to cut just up to the middle. Right along the crease. Now you're going to open your paper back up, and you can see the cut you just made. You're going to hold it horizontally, and you're going to stand it up with the cut on the top and fold it down. And now if you push the pieces together, kind of squish the whole thing together, you can get all of the pages to line up and fold into a little book. This is your completed zine. So it's easier to work with this when it's opened up. So to add your drawings, you're going to open it back up and lay it flat. And before you start adding your drawings, it's important to know which page is which. So I'm going to show you. The first page is here, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, back cover, and front cover. So make sure you know which page is which before you start your drawing. And then when you do start, if you start with your cover, you're going to draw it pointing up. So I can write Laurel's plant zine. But then when I go to draw on my first page, I want to turn it over so that the two sides are mirror images of each other. So on this first page, I could start drawing my plant. Drawing flower. And then I'm going to continue doing my drawings in the same orientation for pages 2, 3, and 4. And then flip it back over to finish 5, 6, and the back cover. So you can either cut out your drawings, your plant drawings, and write in your descriptions and glue them onto your pages, or you can copy them over and add new drawings, whatever way works best for you. When you're done designing your zine, you're gonna stand it back up with the cut on the top, and fold it and squish it that same way I demonstrated before, so that the front cover ends up on the front and the back cover on the back, just like this. So this zine obviously is very small, and it only has 8 pages, including the front and the back. So if you have more drawings than that, you can always make a couple of mini zines to put your drawings in. Or if you'd rather make a larger zine with more pages, I'm going to show you how to do that now. So the second zine is this larger version of the zine. And for this, you will need 3 or 4 pieces of paper, the same printer paper that we used before, some type of string, a sharp object to poke holes with. So I'm using a needle. You could also use a safety pin or a safety clip or a bobby pin or anything else with a sharp point, and a pair of scissors. So if you use 3 pieces of paper, you will get a zine with 12 pages like mine. If you want more pages, you can use 4 or even 5 pieces of paper and you will get more pages. So the first thing you're going to do is stack your papers so that they're all lined up. And I'm going to fold them hamburger style. So make sure this crease is also very well defined. Use your nails. And then you're going to open your papers back up so that they're lying flat. So now you're going to use your sharp object to poke 2 holes in the crease of your paper. So this is the spine of your book. And you're going to open it up in front of you like this, and you're going to poke a hole about 1 inch from the bottom, and then another hole in the same crease about 1 inch from the top. So make sure to be very careful when you're doing this, and make sure that you go through all 3 or 4 of your pages with this hole. So now I'm going to try to poke a hole in the top that's about the same distance away. It doesn't have to be perfect, but see if you can line it up the best of your ability. So I'm going to poke another hole through these 3 pages, right along the crease. Now I'm going to get my string ready to bind. So I'm using yarn for this zine. If you don't have yarn, you can use any other type of string you might have around your house. If you don't have string, you could also make your own string out of a piece of fabric or some old clothes. You can just cut a really skinny piece of fabric. Basically anything that you can tie a knot with will work for this part. So you're going to want to cut a length of your material that's about double the length of your paper. So I'm just measuring it out roughly like this. Then I'm going to cut it. So now you're going to use your sharp object to help you thread this string through the holes. So I still have my papers laying out flat like this, and I'm going to start by threading my string through the bottom hole, going from the inside to the outside. So you might need to make your hole a little bit bigger if you have a thicker piece of string. And then you can use your needle or whatever you're using to help you push your string through to the other side. And then you're going to pull it through out the back like this. You're going to flip your paper back over and do the same thing with the top hole. So you're going to thread the other end of the string through the top hole. So making my hole a little bit larger, and then I'm poking my string through. Okay, and then once it's through, you're going to flip your paper over and pull your strings tight so that it's laying flat. Your string is laying flat on the inside. And then you're going to even out your strings. So mine got a little frayed, so I'm going to trim off the edges, the ends here. My scissors aren't very sharp. Okay, so now you're going to even out your strings, and then you're going to tie a knot in the middle of your crease. So you're going to bring your strings together, make sure that it's nice and tight. Make sure to also tie a double knot so that this doesn't get loose. So you're going to tie a double knot. So now you have a few options. You can either tie a little bow with the leftover string, or you can just trim off these ends if you want it to look a little bit simpler. Okay. And then you're just gonna fold your zine back up, and you can see this is your completed zine. So now it's gonna stay together when you flip through it, and you'll see your string on the center. But it's kind of a nice artistic touch. So like I said, if you want a larger zine with more space for your drawings, I would go with this option. If you like a smaller space, you can make a couple of these little pocket-sized zines that I demonstrated before.